Welcome to Mediocre Gaming, and today we're playing Destiny 2. Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and salutations. Today, back up, it's a Claymore. Let's get to it. Redrix Claymore is the hardest weapon to get in Season 3. You have to max out your competitive Crucible to the highest level in order to obtain it. I was able to get this as a borrow from a clanmate who did get the highest tier on competitive. So shout out to Combs for letting me borrow his gun for a little bit. Alright, so what about this gun is so great to grind for? What is it that makes this special? It is a high impact pulse rifle, so it's a little bit slower firing, a little bit more impact, a little bit more damage. Has good range, good stability, not great. Magazine size is okay, reload speed's okay, handling is not bad. So just looking at the base stats, there's not really much to look at. Now looking at the weapon perks, we have high impact frame, slow firing, high damage, more accurate when you're stationary, and aiming down sights. You have 3 different options for the barrel: chambered compensator, corkscrew rifling, and polygonal rifling. They change the range, handling, and stability slightly. And now we get into the interesting ones. Outlaw, precision kills, greatly decrease reload time, nearly instantaneous, and Desperado. Reloading while Outlaw is active increases your rate of fire. And this is an extremely rare weapon perk, which is what makes this so sought after. Desperado. So this takes this gun from being a slow firing, high damage weapon to a fast firing, high damage weapon, which is what makes this so dangerous. Taking this into the Crucible, one-on-one, without the weapon perks rolling, it's no big deal. It's a pulse rifle, so it's decent at range, medium to long range. Better at medium range. Not so hot at short range, but okay. Now once you proc the Outlaw Desperado perk, so if you get a precision headshot, you immediately reload, and that will activate Desperado. Desperado will nearly double the firing rate on it. So you go down from like 1.5 seconds time to kill to about 0.5 or 0.75, around 0.5 time to kill, which makes it extremely dangerous. So if you were to have this gun, it would be useful, very useful in the Crucible. One-on-one, without the perks, it's okay. It's not great. It's just okay. It's high impact, so it does a lot of damage for the shots that you hit. Headshot damage, very good. Headshot kill, that's when it really shines. Because as soon as you reload it, you will be able to make it into almost an auto rifle, a very fast firing auto rifle. And this just melts your opponents. Now if you get another headshot kill, it resets all the perks, reload, and Desperado is active again. So while the perks are active, you are nearly unstoppable. But the perks are only active for about 5 seconds. Once the perks wear off, it's back to being average Joe pulse rifle. Well, maybe you say, Crucible, well, what about if I'm on the other end of that? You know, don't go one-on-one. If you're going, make sure that you have something like the Graviton Lance or something that can out-damage it without the weapon perks. Since this is just a plain Jane pulse rifle without the weapon perks. So that headshot kill is the trigger. So before that, nothing. It's just average. After that, look out. So if you have this weapon, you want to look for people that are by themselves, people that are in a line. So people that are kind of like the scout, they're ahead of the rest of the pack, or they're in a confused position because they just turn a corner, take the first guy out, reload, and then let loose. What do you want to avoid with this? You don't want to do a 2-on-1 or a 3-on-1 engagement where you're outnumbered and you don't have those perks active. These perks are essential to this gun, and what makes it so dangerous, when they're not active, you're more vulnerable. So going up against 2 or 3 players, going up against even 1 player with a Graviton Lance, when you don't have those perks active, is going to be to your detriment. It's going to be dangerous for you with the Claymore. So on the other end of this, if you're on the receiving end, don't go by yourself. If you do go by yourself, make sure that you have something that will outpower it in the beginning, before the weapon perks are active. After it's active, you're in trouble. So the only thing you can really do at that point is identify the player or players that have that gun, and make sure that if you've got a skull in front of you, you might want to wait a couple seconds before you head straight into your own death. Alright, so you say that's all well and good. Crucible is great for some people, but maybe you're not into Crucible. What about the rest of the game? What about the PvE? Well, it is actually pretty good for PvE. It's in the kinetic slot, so for PvE, kinetic slot, you have things like Nameless Midnight, you have Better Devils, things that have either good reload, explosive payload, things like that that will be pretty good. What does this bring since it doesn't have those types of perks? Well, it has those Outlaw and Desperado, so you're still looking for the headshot kill. So this gun is really good for lower tier enemies, red enemies, even orange enemies. Not something that you will want to use on the boss. And if you use it on the boss, you want to use it when the perks are active, when Desperado is active. So kill one of the ads, and then reload, and then pound on the boss. Because that Desperado will significantly improve your DPS. That's it. Really good gun, really hard to get. Bungie has promised Season 4 this type of weapon will be easier to get than this season. At last guesstimate, there was less than 9,000 people that were able to earn it. In comparison, the Whisper of the Worm, over 1 week's period, there were approximately 100,000 players that were able to get that. Just so you can get an idea of the scale of the number of players that have been trying to get some of these higher tier guns, and who can get them, who cannot, how easy is it to get. Very, very difficult to get. Very, very decent weapon when the perks are active. Awesome weapon when the perks are active. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to ring the bell before you leave to be notified of all future episodes as soon as they go live. And thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing. And we'll see you next time.